Janella, oh my God, thank you so much for doing this. I'm so thrilled. Like, I get to see you every Wednesday morning, and we talk on the phone a couple of times a week about a bunch of different things, whether it's the committee work that we
Totally.
do, or bouncing ideas past one another, or just venting, which is fantastic. And I'm
Yes,
super grateful for that. I really am, like, in more ways than you probably realize.
I'm
But
excited for this opportunity.
yeah, well, you gave a presentation at CCMG a couple of weeks ago, and I loved it. I thought it was really great, and it's so appropriate for where we are right now in this particular market. Like, we're all scrambling to try to figure out how to crack the egg, or how to crack
Right.
the walnut, or how to crack the code, or whatever it is we're cracking. We're trying to get after whatever is necessary for us to help build our business or keep our pipeline full.
And on a budget.
Yeah, and not spend a bunch of money. And you shared something with me a minute ago that I want to get into as we get further along. But let's talk about you first, because I think we need to understand who is Janella Anguiano. So I'll ask you a handful of questions, just rapid fire. How long have you been in the business?
Ooh, 20 years as of Valentine's Day.
And why this? I mean, did you just happen to fall into it? Was it something you did on purpose?
No. So it's actually my mother-in-law. So
Okay.
very grateful to her. I went to work, this is so embarrassing, but I went to work with her, and I probably worked with her as a lender assistant. So she's in loans, but I was an assistant, and I do not envy your jobs. I do not envy your jobs. I can tell you that much. And so after 1 week, she just looked at me with a little severance check, and I probably didn't even earn that, but I married to her son. So she sent me this little check and said, this isn't the job for you, but you would be an excellent realtor. And she referred me to one of her best friends, Kathy Brent, and the rest is history. I mean, it was just
And
amazing.
of course, Kathy Brent's been in this market that we serve locally forever and ever. And so you had a really
Yes.
great teacher to sort of get you up to speed. By the way, thank you for the acknowledgement. I would give it right back to you. I think realtors and lenders are two different types of people entirely.
Yeah.
I hold a real estate license. I have since I got into this line of work. I will
Good for
always have
you.
a real estate license because there's reasons why a lender might want to have one, and it has to do with who you work for. Some entities require you have a real estate license. Some entities do not require it. The current entity I'm with now does not require it. But
Hmm,
because I have a real estate license doesn't mean that I'm going to use it. It's a totally different muscle.
for
And
sure.
and I think anybody that thinks they can do both of them, and I've run into a few that will tell you I have both a lender's license and a real
Right.
estate
I know a few
license.
too.
And I think it's great. Like, if you can make it work, great. But like, I also think staying in your lane and being really good
I
at that is a
prefer to be a
really,
master at my craft.
yeah,
Yep.
it's a really important thing. So I can tell you one of the things one of the reasons it keeps me out of the business of real estate, not lending, but real estate, is you have to be an emotional wellspring for your clients.
Oh, God, yes.
Part
Yes.
coach, part counselor. Um,
Yep.
and and on that note, in your bio, you share with me you are an RCS-D, and I had to go and look that up. But rather than me trying to fumble through it, what is it?
Residential collaborative divorce specialist, or specialist in divorce.
Okay,
So I haven't renewed that in quite a while, but you don't forget what you learned. I mean,
yeah,
unless there's new caveats to it, but it's basically learning how to get a divorce the right way when you're selling a property, or how to sell your home the right way when you're getting a divorce. Things like make sure that if you're going to keep the home and you're divorcing, you get inspections and you also split those costs. You don't just split the equity, you split the damage too. So if there's 20,000 in repairs, you want hubby to take that 10,000 off your plate as well.
got it.
So
So
things like
knowing
that.
that, kind of having that designation and understanding how to navigate that waterway, if you will, again, speaks really, specifically to that being that emotional wellspring for your clients. It's such a
Big time.
huge thing as part of being a real estate agent. Um, we all have things that we love and hate about our job. I won't ask you what you hate because I don't want to put you on blast, but what's one of the things you absolutely love?
Oh my gosh. Oh, you know what? It's a love and hate, because I hate having the issue, but I love solving the problem.
Mm,
So to me, when I can use my knowledge to actually get through a problem and not make it. I think I've learned that when situations come up, if you stress or panic or go into like, oh crap, this deal is going to fall apart mode, then you just dig yourself in a deeper depression hole. But if you focus on the solution and figure out how to get through it, that's always my best thing, is to call my client and say, hey, guess what? There was $20,000 in repair, but we were able to do this and restructure it this way. Or I went ahead and got another quote and it only came up to 11. Let's split the difference with the buyer. Something like that.
Awesome. That's awesome.
I like saving the deal. So it's not the end of the world, because at the end of the day, when say you're the selling agent or the listing agent, and the problem comes to you, I always have to tell my clients, look, this is a new disclosure for you. We deal with it now with these guys, or we have to disclose it to the next buyer. So just knowing how to talk to your client and come up with a solution. I mean, I feel like if every deal was super easy, I wouldn't be sharpening my skills every time we have a deal.
Absolutely. I agree. And I think it requires that skill of being nimble and kind of, bobbing and weaving and, taking the hits as they come and being, able to, solve on the fly. That's a huge part of what this business is about.
And don't always take the first quote. Take that quote, get another quote. That way it's more negotiable. I mean, there's so many things that I try to do for my clients just to keep it going, keep it together.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were talking a minute ago about how you got into the business and I'm curious, is there anything that you think has really prepared you to be a real estate agent? I know we talked a little bit about your formative years. Tell me a little bit about some of the things that you did in high school and after that put you in a position you think to be really good at what you do.
So my kids always ask me, did you go to college? And I said, no. And they said, how are you so successful? And I said, well, high school actually taught me more life skills. I took desktop publishing, which everyone always says, why aren't you doing advertising? If we get into my slides, you'll see everything I do, I create it myself, which they're ads, they're mini ads, they're corny ads, but that's just me. But I do I don't have to spend the money to hire someone to make things for me, because it's me, I do it myself. And there's social media. So desktop publishing, I took that my junior year in high school and I use Publisher every day. So that's pretty cool. I was a yearbook editor, so layouts, just fun content. It kind of was old social media being in that. And then the rally commissioner and a conflict manager, which is huge in real estate.
Tell me about that conflict management. I mean, that's a lot of what we do, right? Is sort of managing human beings. We used to say in the previous line of work that I was in, solve the problem. First fix the person, then you can solve the problem.
So conflict management was a group that you had to apply to be in. So I was in that group. And so rather than if someone got into a fight or argument, they wouldn't get sent to the office, they would get sent to conflict management and we would try to resolve the problem there. So schools love that because they don't want a high suspension rate. They'd rather have it resolved. And so we learned a lot about matching and mirroring. That's where I first learned those terms, matching and mirroring, when you're having a conversation.
Yeah.
So all of that I bring into my real estate career.
Good. Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into it. You want to show your slides?
Sure.
So the goal of today is to talk about how to market more effectively in the market that we're currently in. And Janella, as I said early in the conversation, you gave a really great presentation on all the different things that you do to touch your client base through the course of a year. And so you gave this great talk on, how to do that cost effectively. So let's jump in.
Sure. So I was actually just doing the math on some marketing that I started to do, mailing marketing to people I do not know. So we're talking hitting 800 people for 7 weeks in a row, and it's totaled over $3,000. And guess what my return has been so far?
That's a lot of money. I'm hoping you got something out of it.
Not a call. No, I did get a call. Hey, my house is going on the market. I'm hoping you can come by and bring a buyer. That's the call I got. So no,
okay.
Zero returns so far. I do think we're getting exposure. Maybe if they'll see us or come to an open house, they'll remember just seeing our face. But that $3,000 is like my budget for the entire year for my sphere.
Yeah.
The entire year. of marketing. And my slides will tell us why, if you want me to go into it. So
yeah,
back
definitely.
to
Let's jump
basics.
in. Yeah, let's definitely jump in because I know you've got a bunch of ideas that I want to share, or I want you to share with the listeners, the audience, so that they can understand a little bit more about how you do what you do.
So just today, I actually posted we'll get to that slide too, but your referral was right on target. Thanks for aiming it at me. And I dropped off a Target gift card. Now I got a referral for a seller in Oakland. They may not sell with me, they might, but I gave that referral card just as a thank you for thinking of me. Well, today she sends me a message saying, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the card. And by the way, my friend's moving to Texas and needs to sell. And my mom wants to sell her condo, her investment property. So now that's 2 more referrals just today.
Yeah, that's great.
From her being on my pop by list. So she gets my mailers too, I believe. She lives right around the corner from me. I've known her from my child being in school. We were PTA together. So she just knows that I'm in the business, but she loves my poinsettias. So every year, the day after Thanksgiving, so it's Black Friday, I pick up these poinsettias, make a little holiday card, print them at the office on cardstock. And it's $1.50 to $1.50, depending if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's. But I tell this trick to everybody. Only one agent I know has actually done it, which is crazy to me.
It's in my line of work, and I suppose for both of us anyway, we talk a lot about call reluctance, and I would say it probably falls into the same category. Like, oh, I don't want to bother this person.
I don't even knock on their door. I drop.
Yeah. And so look, I got one from you last year. Thank you very much. It's a lovely gesture. It was in the house until I think the middle in
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's lovely. It's a wonderful touch. We have folks that come through the neighborhood occasionally. In the spring, they'll drop a tomato plant. Or in July, they'll put a American flag on the front lawn, or my brown patch.
So fun stuff like that. It's just little touches that they'll remember you by. So like this. I mean, look at the price on these. These are those fun little boards that you hang out. They're seasonal and they're easy to store in the garage. But for 24 pieces, you get 30 of them, and you're not doing 100 Popeyes. I mean, these are just fun local Popeyes to people that you work with, people that you might get referrals from. And these are all at the dollar store, or you can order them at the Dollar Tree, which is great. I don't know the turnaround time. I actually have to do the order, but I usually just run right down the dollar store and pick up my lot and I'm good to go. But the thing is being prepared and doing it early.
Yeah. So let's talk about that for a second, because when you gave this presentation, we were right before the Valentine's holiday, and one of the Popeyes you were working on was a Valentine's mailer or something along that line.
It was a Popeye.
It was a Popeye, sorry.
Yep, no, it was just like that.
Do you set out a calendar for like the entire year at some point, or are you looking like on a 90-day one? Like, how are you organizing yourself behind these monthly theme, Popeyes?
Oh my word. I am an organized mess. I kind of fly by the seat of my pants. It's bad, but it's good because I know me and I just get it done. I mean, to me, I have the pieces already made, and most of them I have made, and then I just change it up a little bit. I think you might have received one of my, I'd be so lucky to receive a referral from you with a little scratcher, and it said Happy St. Patrick's Day. I was handing them out last year around the marketplace.
Yep.
So I'm making those again, but I'm just changing up the photo, and it'll be the same exact concept, because who doesn't want a lotto scratcher? I mean, those are just easy fun and they're great. So
fun fact, I didn't want to take over the story there a minute ago, but I also have a desktop publishing background. I ran a small print shop for about 10 years of my life. So we have that in common. Nice. And the reason I bring that up is because, to your point, once you have the template set, making small adjustments is an easy thing to do.
100%. I have it. And that's why I always tell people I'm happy to help them.
Yep.
If anybody were to come into my office, I literally would just name it, their name, and then just start swapping out all of the information, their photo, their information, and I'm done. I mean, it just makes it so easy. Eve, I think she sells insurance.
Yeah.
She hit me up and said, let's do it right after the meeting.
Yeah.
She called me and said, I'm taking you to lunch. Let's do this Friday. And we had so much fun. And at the end of it, she was so grateful. And she's very whimsical, like 11/11, Make-A-Wish, and rainbows and butterflies. And I handed her 8 strategically 8 business cards because she was into the infinity and good luck numbers. I handed her 8 of my business cards and said, I would love 8 referrals from you this year, and I will be more than happy to help you with any marketing at any time.
That's
So
great.
she was really excited about that.
And that goes back, like you and I've talked about this a bunch, and it's my sort of my heart as well, is a giver's mentality. If you come from a place of abundance, like it will come back to you. Givers
Big time.
get every time. It's just a simple fact. And I love, you and I talked a little bit about, this is months and months ago. You worked for Judy Rose for a period of time, and Judy gave you that sort of that mentality, sort of branded you with that, I guess, at some level of, be generous and, and help people, because like that's the right thing to do. Not because you're going to get something from it, but because it's the right thing to do.
I was very, very fortunate enough to start at Prudential with a lot of, I mean, today they're still seasoned agents, but when I started, they were in the business and very successful. And they didn't have the shut the door, I'm working. They had an open door policy, pick my brain. They weren't even paid to be mentors. Like a lot of mentors today want the money to mentor you.
Yeah.
It was, I can open Kathy Brent's door, Diane McDonald's door, Judy Rose's door, Jasmine Rhodes. I mean, all the people that are in the business still now that are crushing it, they helped me develop my skills, which I'm forever grateful.
That's amazing. I mean, what an absolute wonderful thing. And I'm glad to see that you're willing to keep going with that same giver's mentality. It makes such a, it's such a huge thing. And honestly, I say it all the time, like there's 14 million people that live in the San Francisco Bay Area. I don't need them all to make a decent living.
That's right.
I just need a few of them,
And Eric Shalifor is the one that told me to reach out to my sphere. It was your sphere is your bread and butter.
Yeah.
So those are the people you really want to reach out to.
And that's where that's where this program comes from, right? Like you're doing this. Let me whip up a CMA for you. I mean, these are going to people that you have done business with or want to do business with, or that people that who are gonna look to you as the trained professional to help them with this really important transaction in their life.
Well, 20 years in the business, people that have bought with me 20 years ago, they have so much equity that they might not want to sell, but let me tell you how much your home is worth. You might be able to pull some money out and now invest it and get an investment property.
Yep. Or buy a second home.
That's
or
right.
If you've got kids that are going off to college, like ours are going to go probably to Southern California next year. Robin and I are thinking like, well, why don't we just buy a condo down there and they can stay together in the condo, and then, like that, we're going to pay for housing one way or the other, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So cool.
Exactly.
So let me whip up the CMA. Okay. So this is kind of your jam. When I first met you, you were going out often and you had a brigade. You had 3 or 4 of you that would go, maybe more of you that would go.
We did
a couple days a week.
Yeah, we would go. Well, we did, God, was it 50 doors a day?
50 doors a day.
Yeah.
So there's a well-known agent here in the Valley. I met him. We were in a local bar at some point a few months back, and I was talking to him about, what really worked for him. And he said door knocking. And I said, do you find that to be difficult? And he said, no, not at all. As a matter of fact, because I know if I knock on enough doors, I'm going to get a deal out of it. And he goes, I even got it down to a point where it was this recipe. He said, I needed to knock on 25 doors to get a piece of business, whether it was a buyer or a listing or something, like whatever the number was. And he said, and every time I would knock on someone's door, if they said, hey, get out of here, or, send them away, or we're rude to him, he would just say, as the door was closing, he would say to himself, thank you, $100. That was his reframe. Because it was one more door towards his goal of getting a listing or getting a buyer.
Oh yeah.
And that was going to result in
the
commission. So
you cannot be discouraged by that.
It was a great reframe for him. So talk to me about door knocking for you. Why? What gets you motivated behind it?
I actually knocked on one door one time and it said no soliciting. And I was like in knock mode. I was just like knocking and going. And I knocked and I stepped away after I saw the no solicit sign, and she opened the door and I said, I am really sorry. I just saw your sign. And she goes, no, it's okay. I actually need to sell my house. And so now that's my line. I knock on the door anyway and go, oh, so sorry, I just saw your sign.
Tell
Because I
me,
can't miss an opportunity.
yeah, no,
I mean,
I get that. I really do. Do you track those metrics for yourself? I'm curious.
I do not. I am a
Okay.
loser when it comes to tracking things. I feel like
Okay.
I just go and I don't know, everyone always says, oh, you're just like rainbows and butterflies because it's just, there's so much success. I love what I'm doing that I don't feel like I'm failing at anything because it's always, I'm learning from it as I'm
Yeah,
going. Either way,
my nephew's a jiu-jitsu fighter, and they have a philosophy: I never lose. I either win or I learn.
that is it,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I don't know, every farm we've ever, so Cindy and I, would we just pick a farm and we go door knock, we've gotten a listing in every single one of them,
That's
which
great.
is
So like
cool.
I mean that's a pretty high success ratio.
We have been very successful
Yeah.
and it's
Do
just
you
fun.
do you have are you hitting the same neighborhoods every time?
No, no, we
Okay.
do not. I
Okay.
know we probably should stick to it. I mean, this was years back at Berkshire when we were together there, but
Yeah.
um, even in the manor, I mean, when we knocked there, I was knocking and knocking. He was blasting music. I walked away. He came to the door and he goes, oh, this is my mother-in-law's house. She passed away. We are going to sell it. And then he started crying. And then I hugged him. And then he told me the story about his brother passing. And then I hugged him. We were on his porch for probably 20 minutes chatting it up, and it turned to 3 listings and a purchase.
Wow.
I
So those
know,
are examples of when you actually get someone to answer the door and you can make that human connection and you
yeah,
can really dive deep or drill deep in on, the human part. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not houses, it's humans. I'm stealing a line from another guy
100%.
in the business, so sorry, Keith, but I'll pay tribute to you because his adage is humans over houses, and that's really a true
That's
thing.
great.
Yeah.
And
So
I don't say that, but I feel like that is
yeah.
my whole, I treat your transaction like it's me, like I'm buying it, like
Mhm.
I'm spending my money. That's how I treat every transaction.
But so that's again when you get someone to answer the door, but when you don't, I see that you have a door hanger. So you leave a door hanger,
Leave a
for
flyer, whatever it
leave a
is, door
flyer,
hanger,
whatever it is, you
flyer.
leave something for them, so they know that you were there. Go back
Yeah,
to that. This is great. I love this so much. No,
this
no,
one.
no, no, your social experiment.
Oh, yes.
So the social experiment is great. You had me play along with it. I am a firm believer in um, your clients, whether you know them or not, are looking for reasons not to work with you. And I know that sounds awful when you say it that way, but they're looking for social proof. So they're
Yeah,
gonna,
that's
whether
true.
like Aaron Moore, God love the guy, like he said it, he nailed it. Like he was talking about his mom, and his mom was looking up his reputation on, Yelp,
So,
right? So, but like,
yeah,
and sorry, Aaron, I don't mean to put you on blast, but like, the truth is that there's so much information available to us that we have to be careful about our reputation. We also have to curate to a certain extent, meaning like you better have a Yelp profile, you better have a Google business page, you better have an Instagram profile, you better be doing something with Facebook,
LinkedIn,
LinkedIn.
Facebook,
Yeah.
you name it.
The only one I won't do because I can't, because I don't understand it, but B, because I do stuff with
Are you
financial
going to say TikTok?
information. I won't do anything with TikTok because of what I
I,
do with people's
I'm right there
financial
with you.
information. Yeah,
I don't do
I just
TikTok
can't.
either.
Yeah, I
I
just
don't even
can't.
have TikTok on my phone.
Yeah, I don't either, and I won't because I just don't trust what they're doing with the data. And if you do any deep dive on that particular platform, there's a lot of weird stuff that's happening there,
I'm
and I
not even
just
interested.
yeah, I
I
feel like
just,
there's enough other platforms that I can play on.
yeah, yeah,
That
definitely.
I mean, now for God's sake, we have now we're doing this podcast thing with Anchor.fm, and it's being broadcast out into Spotify as well.
That's
So,
cool.
but at any rate, so so the social experiment. Um, Run me through that real quick so that we can understand exactly what you do here.
So what I love about it is that they're searching for you organically. that you're telling them to, but they're all over the place. I mean, by people in Sacramento, I mean, they're just all over.
Mhm.
So one thing I do want to tell people, make sure you Google yourself and click on everything that pops up about you and make sure it's the same information, the same website. If you used to work for Berkshire or you used to work for Prudential, you better not have a Prudential website if you work for Century 21. So clean up your social media presence or your web presence, period. Just
Yeah.
make sure all platforms have
Yeah.
the same updated photo, the same website, all your links to all your social media, because a lot of places you can add all the different links and even have more exposure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for this
I
one,
just got my Google business page back. It had been hijacked by another bank that I work
oh
for.
geez.
Yeah, and it was a whole big thing, and it took a long while to get it sorted out. But now I finally have it back, and
Do
I've
I need
got
to do your
people.
review again?
Yeah, no, you came in right when I had finally gotten control of it again, and thank you very much for that generous review. I'm very grateful for that. But so you
Course.
do this social experiment with Google, and you post this thing out there on Facebook and on Instagram, and you say, hey, Google me, and then tell me you did by posting a screenshot of the Google that you did to my Facebook page.
Whatever pops up first. Yep.
Yeah, whatever pops up first, and then I'll enter you into a drawing. So,
Yeah.
so talk us through, like, you were big on this during the pandemic,
Yes.
and in
Support
particular,
local.
supporting local and doing the giveaway wheel for gift cards and meal
Yep.
sponsored, all those different things. So, how's that going for you? And what's been the
Wonderful.
biggest takeaway for you from it? Like,
One
what's
of
the
my
thing?
winners just referred me a listing.
I love it.
So aside from never speaking to her, she just followed the Rotary page, my page from that, and just saw my post and shared my post. And she happened to be a winner. And so when her sister called me to sell the home, I said, oh, and by the way, who referred you? And she gave me the name. It didn't ring a bell. I had to look it up and I saw their whole
See,
conversation
now
about her being a winner.
you just got finished telling me you don't track these things, but you do.
I only tracked it because it was a messenger. I just looked
Yeah.
up her name and
No,
it was
but you, in your mind, you're thinking, I got to figure out where this came from, and why is that,
totally.
right?
I
Because you
always
got to
want to know
figure
who to
out what
thank.
what's
Yeah,
working, what's not.
I always want to know who to thank. So of course
Yeah.
I put a whole package together for her, dropped it off and said, thank you so much for the referral, tagged her on my Facebook page we'll get to the target picture when I go to that
So
page.
listen, there's a really important reframe there, and I want to make sure that everybody hears this, because it's critical. I'm talking about return on investment. And Janelle is making sure that she thanks the people that she's gotten to do business with.
Oh, for sure.
Do you see the difference between those two things? Like, I'm looking at it from a business metric standpoint, and Janelle, you're looking to make sure that the people that refer business back to you get thanked. And that's
Oh,
huge.
big time. Whether it turns into a transaction or not,
Yeah.
you thought of me and I'm
Yeah.
going to thank you for that.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. And I'm big on thank yous too. You've gotten a couple from me over time, and you'll get another one at the end of this as well. But I think it's really an important thing to make sure that people understand that you value your friendship, partnership, relationship, whatever it is, friend, family, or foe. Like, you want to make sure that those people know that
Big
they
time.
matter to you somehow, some way.
The fact that she remembered me was so huge to me that of course I had to give her a big thank you and acknowledge it on social media.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I mean, when I get to that page, I'll talk more. Let me see where it's at. This is just when I post.
Yeah, go
things.
back there. Go back to the social media post, because I love this too. So, like, because I struggle on a daily basis. Like, when am I gonna, so I talked to another agent, the Dub agent. Shout out to Paul Wong,
Love that guy.
who he's taught me a lot about social media as well. One of the things that he does, very, very, I wouldn't say calculatingly, but very relentlessly, I think is probably the best way to put it. He's
Videos.
posting at least twice a day.
Oh yeah.
And he does a personal post and he does a business post. And if you watch him, he does it every single day.
Oh yeah. Sometimes twice.
Yeah.
Or more. Depends
Yeah.
on what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he pays tribute to the people. This is what I love too, is like when he was in women's council, he pays tribute to women's council. He pays tribute to Coldwell Banker, which is his broker. He pays tribute to his wife on the regular, which I love so much, because I'm the same way. The lovely Miss Rubin
Totally.
always gets a shout out from me. But the when to post or what to post and when is a really important thing. So why don't you run us through your week, and do you do this every single week?
Nope, it's when I do decide to post. If I don't have something else to post business wise, then I'll refer to one of these things, which it's so easy to do. So Mortgage Monday, talk to your preferred lender and get an update. What's happening?
Yeah.
Either get on camera and do a video, pull them in live and just do it off the cuff,
Yep.
or call them and say, hey, can you share a chart with me? Anything that you could do to provide value and knowledge on what's happening, because a lot of people want to know what's happening in the mortgage business right now with regard to the rates and where they're
And
at.
I would say, like, so mortgage or real estate, if we're not selling with data, we're not doing our job.
Right. That's right.
You got to be.
And then a tip for Tuesday.
Yep. Yep.
Tip for Tuesday, just anything fun that has to do with household. The slides show a little bit of the photos on the other side, but it's
I
just
love you
a
said
fun.
you're great about saying Pinterest is a great resource for this too. It is a great resource for this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Just type in household tips or anything that is a tip. Type in that, like how to save your paint. Anything you want to do. So much information, and photos pop up, which is great, because then you could post the photo with the tip and do a hashtag tip for Tuesday, and then you'll be known for that. And then when anyone clicks that tip for Tuesday, all your tips will pop up when they hit that hashtag, which is kind of cool.
That is very cool.
I do like that. And then website Wednesday depends on if you have a good site. Like I have my website, you could search property, so I could post that landing page for that Wednesday and say, oh, hey, looking to search property, use this link, or feel comfortable referring me. Here's my testimonial link on my website. So it's just driving people to my website.
Yeah. Cool.
Thursday, think about it Thursday, thinking about buying or selling. So that's just more like an ad for yourself.
Okay.
And then Funny Friday, back to Paul Wong. I don't know if you've seen his posts lately.
His stuff has been on fire lately. It's just
dying.
Been so great.
Like I'm dying. And I'm like, Paul, this is amazing, which is really cool.
I don't know where he's getting it from, but more power to him. I'm gonna have to start stealing some of it because it's really great.
What was really cool was he was posting them and I said, these are great, but you're not putting your info on them. He, in the middle of me telling him that, he's going, the very next post, his bottom bar was on there.
Yep, absolutely.
I was like, good job.
Yeah,
he's so
absolutely.
He's so great. He's always soaking in every knowledge. Like, it's great. I do like when people take what I advise them on and actually go with it, because not everybody does.
No, and I think that's the thing. Like, Nicole Easterday said something in your presentation that I thought was so perfect, and I want to just take a second to acknowledge her. She said, if you don't have time to do any of this, it's okay. Like,
right.
It's okay. Like, we're so caught up, unfortunately, in looking over our shoulder. You got to play your own game.
For sure.
And if posting on social media isn't your thing, but door knocking is, then go be a door knocker and forget about social media. If being a door knocker is not your thing and social media is, then lean into social media and do that thing. Don't try to be a zebra when you're a leopard.
True.
Right?
True.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
but you could take what I'm doing and do it your own way. I mean, that's the thing is, do something.
Yeah.
If you're not busy and you're too busy to get busy with business, then you're not doing the right thing.
Yeah. I think that you've given us a bunch of ideas, and one of the things that I've learned in going to, some of these top producer seminars, just pick one or two things that work for you. Don't try to do all of them.
That's right.
Here's good examples of stuff that you can pick up off of Pinterest.
I mean, I learned a cool trick just by doing this presentation. I didn't think about a pool noodle. Dollar store.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool if you don't have a big bucket or a big tub in your garage. We do. But what a cool and easy way just to fill up a bucket with a tube.
Easy peasy. Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
I love the use mayonnaise to remove watermarks on wood. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Does it work? I have no idea. I'll probably test it out one day.
Test it in a small spot first.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Well, let's do this one. I love this so much. This is a really brilliant idea. So you take books and you make little bookmarks, and then you take your books with your bookmark in them and you stick them in little free libraries all over town.
So the books, there's actually a sticker that I made. I don't have that here, but the sticker says this book is courtesy of your local realtor with my photo and my info. And I put that sticker in the book on the back. And those will go in. But these are just a stack of bookmarkers that I'll drop in the little libraries.
Oh, that's a great distinction. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then I see you have a QR code. So the QR code goes to your personal website.
Correct.
Love
Yep.
it. Love
Which
it.
I might even change it out and put my Facebook page on there because I feel that's more engaging than my website would be.
Yeah.
It's like they could go there and go, great. But if somebody follows me on Facebook, that's more concrete, showing proof of my production and what I do, more into me.
All right. What else you got?
So these are easy. Like these are just on cardstock, made through publisher, printed on cardstock, and then I laminate them.
Yeah, and you mentioned in your presentation that your mom gave you a laminator years ago
for my birthday.
For your birthday, which is such an awesome birthday gift. Your mother obviously she was paying attention to you. She knew, she knew your love language. Who knew
I guess
that
so. My
lamination
mom
was
is
your love
really
language?
good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She is,
and you're right.
amazing.
I actually had looked at. I went online just before we started the session today, and I looked to see what laminators cost. $25.
Yeah,
they're not.
I know.
They're not expensive.
They're super cheap, and you can make really cool to-do list, like a dry erase created. I mean, you could put anything you want. I went door knocking and there was a lady that had bird feeders all over her yard. So I went home, created one with a bird feeder on it, custom made it just for her, 5 minutes, threw a bird feeder on the back of the one I already had templated, printed it, laminated it. I mean, she was like, oh my goodness.
That's so fantastic. I love it so much.
So being able just to create stuff on the fly, it's so fun. Like this stuff, I geek out on it.
Yeah.
Now this one.
Yeah, so I've seen this one a bunch. This is one of your favorite social media posts, and I think it's so fantastic. And it really goes back to the giver's heart as well, because you don't, or I should say, you do give this to everybody, whether you get a deal out of it or not.
Yep. That's because magic. I'm so frugal that I have such a good marketing budget.
Yeah.
That I'd rather spend the money on rewarding the referrals because they're going to keep coming.
Yeah.
Than spending it on people that I don't know. So sending out, like I said, 7 mailers for the last 7 weeks was $3,000. Holy crap. That money is such good money that I could have been spending on the people that know and love me.
Yeah.
And I thank them. So, it's nice that budget was split in half with another agent.
Yeah.
So
well, huge. And as we talked about, you shared that with me right before the session we started recording, but I do think that, you have to look at the possibility and be open to the possibility that maybe something didn't come right away from it, but that there's something that's germinating there that's going to come as a result.
And it could be, it definitely could be, but for this, at least I know, they're real tangible referrals, and I'm going to put them in my database and work with them, which is great. And the fact that my people are thinking of me.
Yeah, let's jump in on the database thing, because I have been in database hell for the last several days trying to get my database lined up.
I've been database hell for the whole 20 years of my business. Are you kidding me?
I know. Every time I think I got a handle on it, it's like, no. And then I work for a company that's the number 2 lender in the country. And so they've got this really high powered, CRM database that they've given us. And it's got so many bells and whistles. So now I'm going back through and cleaning things up and adding loan detail and trying to get it to a place where I can do some automation with it. How often are you? Yeah, you don't have to be fancy. That's the whole thing. How often are you updating your database?
So one thing that's good about Century 21 is we have the preferred client club. Okay. And so for every deal I close, they automatically get put into a 7-year program.
Oh, wow.
7 years. Oh, sorry. There's a 5 or 7 year. So they're in a 5-year program where they get 7 mailers a year. So they get a calendar in December, 4 magazines quarterly, and then 2 seasonal greeting cards. Set it and forget it.
Your name on it?
It's all brand. My name, my photo, everything.
I love it.
It's amazing. Color magazines called At Home. Really good content. And then I also use those as postable moments. So I'll put the magazine on social media and say, hey, did you get my free magazine? Would you like a copy? Send me your information.
Brilliant.
So fun
Brilliant.
stuff like that. But that's huge for me. So that database in my Century 21 profile is probably more accurate than anything. Otherwise, I do a mail merge. So when I'm mailing out to my sphere,
Yeah.
that's pretty much my database, which happens to just be an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And then I have people in my Real Scout, which is when we're actually working together and they're looking for property, they're put into that with their search criteria. So it's
Got it.
kind of a spread around. That's what I'm saying. I've never had a
So
whole
it's
concise database.
it's situational. You've got various, so you've got ongoing care and maintenance is being managed by the C21 7-year program or 5-year program.
Mhm.
You've got active management, which is done through Real Scout, that where you're actually working with buyers that are looking at specific property with criteria they've given you. And then you've got your pop buys and your ongoing touch to your sphere is managed out
Well,
of
thanks to
basic.
you and this
Yeah.
podcast today, I'm actually going to make a whole nother category
Okay.
of pop by people. Because I missed, like you got a flower last year, but not this year.
Yeah.
So sorry. I'm like, you should have been on there. Tony Alvino, the same. You know,
Yeah.
Tony's given me like 4 referrals that have
love
actually
it.
transacted. Like I've gotten sales with him, 2 listings and a purchase, and then he just referred me 3 more.
He's a
So
bourbon drinker too, by the way, just so you know.
thank you. No, yes, I know. Definitely going to be getting him that. He
Shout
did
out to
already
Tony
get,
Alvino.
yeah, he already got 2 Target gift cards for me. So I think bourbon might be next. He's like, forget this Target. Give me some, yeah,
I'm
bourbon.
telling
I
you.
like that.
No, it's
Thanks for
great.
the
And
reminder.
and I think it's important that you take care of the people that take care of you. And
So pop by database. I'm excited
yeah.
about that because I feel like there's a lot of people I missed in my last go round for Valentine's Day.
Hey, we're getting real close to the top of the hour, and I want to be respectful of your time. You've been super generous with me, and I'm thankful for that. Let's talk real quick. Let's talk about camera shyness. You said something to me that completely changed the game. I have to share it with you because it's such an important thing. You don't have a stunt double, do you?
I thought you were going to say when I said it at CCMG, you are what you look like. You look like what you look like. So just get on the camera and press the record.
Yeah, nobody likes the way they look on film. Nobody likes the way they sound in a recording. Like, I hate the way I sound, but you know what? So
Same.
what? So what? So what's the alternative? Right?
Not doing it.
Yeah, not doing it, not having visibility, and you know, and here's the thing. This is for anybody willing to listen. You have to go where your clients are. And more, your clients are meeting here in virtual space, in Instagram, in the feed, in the reels, in the stories, right? Yep. More and more people are spending more and more time on their telephones. And if you're not there, guess who is? Your competition.
And social media is free.
Right. And it's free. I mean, which is fantastic.
Crazy.
And the cool thing is, like, you can do some interesting things with it. Right. And listen, you know, it's not easy. You know, one of the guys that I work for is 2-3 levels above me, who's a huge social media influencer and a guy that really has a handle. He does all kinds of crazy stuff. He wears costumes and he's got this crazy studio behind him.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he does all kinds of crazy stuff. To the extent that recently he was on with Gary Vaynerchuk, which was a big deal, right?
Wow.
You know, so like this is a big time.
So he's making an impact.
But he had a whole thing a few years back. He was challenged by somebody in his family to do 100 videos in 100 days. And he challenged all of us to do the same thing. And I set out to do it. And I haven't done 100 videos in 100 days, but I'll tell you, I've done 75 or 80 over the course of about 3 months. And you know what happens? It gets easier.
Oh, yeah. It's like clockwork almost.
Yeah. And you get better at it. Your content gets sharper and you start listening and you're looking at, you know, I'll another shout out here from Monica Jakaris, who, you know, her social media game is really on point. She's been amazing. So completely generous with me in terms of, like, you know, how to figure out Instagram, you know, do I, you know, do I
How to do a
change from a
reel.
personal profile to a business profile, or do I become a content creator, you know, and then, okay, your reels are great, but now you have to have a cover on them, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And so all of this
You're
is
like,
done, you know, for me, has given me an opportunity to tighten up my online presence, which you nailed earlier. You said, go Google yourself and make sure that your, you know, that your profiles are
consistent.
consistent across all these platforms. And so, you know, so now I have my personal website, I've got my Instagram profile, I've got my Facebook profile, I have my YouTube channel. And, you know, all of that now looks consistent, feels consistent. The podcast has the same kind of look and feel as well. You know, it's not an overnight sensation. It takes a little
Right.
time for it to come together, but once it does, it's amazing. Like, I'm a fan of yours. I have been for a while now. I watch the way you are on camera. It's totally natural. You come across as personable and
I think
likable.
being stuck in Zoom land did that. Having to be
Yes.
on Zoom the whole time we
Yeah.
were doing
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
really, really, really made my comfort level behind. So now I just talk like I'm talking to people on Zoom when I'm doing
Well,
videos, and it just comes out so naturally.
that was such
It's
that
crazy.
was such a great reframe for me. You said the same thing to me. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. She's like, what are you talking about? You said, what are you talking about? You are on Zoom every single week. You're talking into the camera. What is the difference?
Yes.
There's no
What is the
difference.
difference?
Yeah, there's
Yep.
no difference. Right.
Yep.
So, and then the other thing is just remember, you know, like if you are talking into the camera, like talk, you know, talk as if you're speaking to a friend.
Yeah. Focus on someone you know in the Zoom room. It's like, oh my God, when we did our kickoff last year, when we were in Zoom, we weren't in person yet.
Yeah.
We had 115 people in the Zoom room,
That's
but I
scary, isn't it?
focused
Like
on
that can
everyone
feel
I
a
knew.
little overwhelming, right?
But it was exciting.
Yeah.
It was exciting. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I didn't think about 115 people. I was looking at my people. I was looking at you guys.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
super confident going in on that one. But it was
Listen,
also very exciting.
we're right there. And I just want to, like, again, I want to be really respectful of your time. You have been so generous. What a gift that you have given me,
Thank
us
you.
together. I'll wrap this up over the next 24 hours or so. I'll send you a link.
Well, it's my honor because I'm a huge fan of you.
Oh
Huge
God,
fan of you.
you stop it. You're gonna make me blush.
Oh, you're so amazing. You're just
Yeah,
all the stuff you do for the community. You're involved. You
yeah,
step up, and you're also
yeah.
leveling up in the stuff you're providing. So I
Uh,
love your videos, your content, your educational. You're kick ass, if I could say that.
oh my God, that's
So thanks
huge
for having
praise.
me.
Huge praise for somebody who I think has really got their act together in this business. So thank you so much. Have a
Because we
great
love
rest
what
of
we
your
do.
day. And I'll follow up with the recordings and so forth in the next day or so. And I'll post it
Great.
on social media once it's up and running. Okay.
So exciting. Perfect. Thank you for
Awesome.
the opportunity, and it was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.